All right, we are back with another pick'em video. Going to be talking NBA in this one. We got the play-in tournament starting today. Super excited for these games. There's only two games. We're going to go, deep dive them a little bit and then talk some plays, at least three, maybe four plays. And then also, if you're looking for some MLB plays, I'll be dropping another video a little bit after this one. So at least to start, we're going to be doing, an NBA video and an MLB video per day. Sometimes I'll combo them together if I can't find too much value in the NBA games because there's not going to be as many. But there's always a ton of baseball to go over. So there's usually some good lines I can find. But if you're new to this channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like because if this video gets 150 likes, I'll be giving away a free month of the Discord to a random commenter down below. So comment as well to get in on that action. Yeah, super excited. We're going to go over our picks. I'm very transparent on this channel. I don't skim over my losses. I'm definitely not going to skim over my wins. And yesterday just happened to be a pretty rough day for us. Even in the Discord, probably one of my worst days. Actually, it was the worst day on PrizePicks for MLB yet, just because we've been killing it to start the year. But Sleeper, we swept Sleeper, which was awesome. And that kind of boosted us up a little bit from yesterday. But the bad video fix altogether. Reese Olson, everything looked good. I always deep dive. You can pick and choose your favorite ones. And if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, don't go for it. But if what I'm saying does make sense, obviously, go to that play if you like it. But Reese Olson, best game of his career. Not sure why it's showing 6 strikeouts because he had 8 against the Rangers there. So wasn't looking good early. First 2 innings, he had 5 Ks. Worst case or the best case scenario we're looking at for a push there, but did get 3 more after that. So, hats off to Reese Olson. Good for him. But he lost it for us. Nico Hornier, you can't make this up. Bottom of the ninth, had 0 hits, runs, and RBIs. Looked like a for sure win there. There was also 2 outs, I believe, and he ends up smacking a single. Forget which side of the field, but gets on base. Wasn't thinking too much of it. Got to second, and then again, literally 2 outs. Not sure what the count was, but bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. He ends up stealing home from second base, not third base, stealing home from second base on a pass ball. You got to watch the video to believe it. And then literally right after that, the guy that was up to bat lined out to center field or something. So that would have been the 3rd out. That sucked. He actually ended up having a good extra innings there. Had another at bat, got another base hit there for him. So ended up crushing over this line, but you can't make it up. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, ends up going from second to home plate on a fastball, which is insane. And then Yordan Alvarez, I think might be probably my first banned player of the MLB season. Every time we've gone to him, he's missed, and he's just not been playing too well this season, while the Astros have been. William Contreras was our only hit of the day, riding that hot hand, popular play. Not sure if he hit his fantasy score. We kind of talked about that a little bit, but did get there for us for the hits, runs, and RBIs. I think he had like 2 hits or something like that. Yeah, let's try to bounce back from a bad day yesterday. And again, we're talking NBA, so super excited about the board. All right, so real quick, let's go over the matchups we got tonight. We got the Lakers and the Pelicans. That's the first game tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And the Pelicans are 1.5-point favorites. So the Lakers have had the Pelicans number. They just played recently the last game, and the Lakers handled business pretty easily. They've won 3 out of the 4 matchups this season. But the Pelicans are at home. They're 1.5-point favorites. They got Brandon Ingram back. So we'll see how they fare. Should be a close, fun game. Minutes should be up for a lot of players, but also defenses should be locking down a little bit more. We're postseason NBA now, so that definitely takes into account. Postseason basketball is a bit different than regular season. And then we got the Warriors and the Kings later on. They matched up against each other in the playoffs last year. We have a ton of data from that. And again, should be a close game. 2.5-point spread. Warriors are actually favorites here on the road. Obviously, the NBA would like to see the Warriors and the Lakers advance, but the Kings and Pelicans might have other things to say. So let's go over the first game here, LA and New Orleans. We'll talk about minutes a little bit once I look at specific players. But we're going to look at Austin Reeves. He's going to be our first play of the day. Going to be going to his 23.0 PRA. Was bummed not to get this at 22.5. That's where I really wanted to get it. And it did unfortunately get bumped as I was looking at lines before I could get them out. But usually I would bounce to maybe go to his points, maybe look at a different line. I'm staying with his PRA. I think he has the capability of getting some rebounds, some assists, some points, whatever he might need to do. And his minutes should be up. Reeves is definitely a playoff player. We saw that last year. And let's just jump into his outlier page, look at some stats. But 23.0 PRA is going to be our first play of the day here. So we're seeing pop it up at 22.5. Let's go an alt line, get this to 23 so we can see some pushes. But yeah, looking really good. Let me go ahead and reset this and just look at 2023 as a whole. So 63% hit rate, pretty solid right off the bat, averaging 25.72 PRA for the season. So that's looking good right off the bat. Obviously, the hit rate is not bad for sure. In terms of the matchup, I love this even more. Head to head, they've played each other 4 times this season. Again, at 22.5, these would both be hits. But we're really just looking at these 4 games. And that's the games that he has played this year. So 29, 31, 33 PRA, and then would have pushed last game in that 20-point victory on the 6th or on the 14th, so 2 days ago. So he's played well against this team. Matchups looking really good. Hit rate's looking incredible. But again, it's playoff time. Let's go see how he's been playing. Last year we have some playoff stats from Reeves, and he should be getting the minutes. So we can actually make this even look a little bit better. He's projected for 32 minutes tonight. So even if I pop this up to just, 30 minutes or so, my computer's so laggy, 30 minutes, 77% hit rate. So absolutely looking incredible in terms of hit rate. Where am I getting that 32-minute projection? Going right here, wrong team. Right here, go to the projection model on RotoWire. We see Austin Reeves 32 minutes projected. So hopefully he gets that or more, and it's looking really, really good for us. Looking back to last year, again, we can look at the end of the season where a lot of these playoff games were happening, and we see he had a lot of success, especially in those games where he's getting at least 30 minutes. So they should run Austin Reeves tonight. He's been playing extremely well, and Lakers, hopefully are clicking so we can see LeBron in another postseason. Just the NBA is a little bit better when LeBron is in the playoffs. So Reeves looking extremely good across the board. Matchup, hit rate. But we want to look at some odds. Again, loving it at 22.5. The odds were loving it at 22.5. But I really like to see that the odds are really liking this 23.5 or 23.0. Also, they're still projecting on the over. It's around a 50-50 line, but even after that bump, it's still projected on the over here. So I do like to see that. If you want to just go to his points, don't mind that at all. If you want to go to his points and assists, I don't mind that at all. But again, sticking to the PRA just because I think he can do it in a lot of different ways. Yes, he's been getting a lot of assists against the Pelicans. But I just kind of like the, hopefully he grabs 3 or 4 rebounds for us would be just an added bonus. So if you're not wondering, if you have no idea what this is just a fantasy optimizer. Just shows market value. Why is this? Where is it getting this data? It's just showing it's integrated with PrizePicks, with Underdog, with all these different types of sportsbook or DFS platforms, and it's just saying, hey, where are these lines out on PrizePicks? And where are they at on all these other different platforms? And are we getting a good line? And we can see that with all these different data points: Pinnacle, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars. Where do they have their lines? Well, at this 23.0 mark at PrizePicks, everyone else is at either 23.5 or 22.5. And if they're at 22.5, they're very heavily favored to go over that. And even at 23.5, it's looking like a pretty 50-50 line, minus 113 on FanDuel, and then minus 125 even favored on Bovada. So good to see, great market value. And then our last data point we go to here, I'll go a little bit quicker on the next few picks, but we like to see a projection model over on RotoWire. If you're interested in any of these tools, they all have links in the description for either discounts or free trials. Highly recommend checking them out. But we can see Reeves here, PRA 23.0. They're projecting a 23.68. So another data point just pointing in the right direction, and everything looking good for Reeves here today. So that was a long-winded one for one play, but I'm really excited about Reeves tonight. I think he's going to have a good one. And Austin Reeves 23.0 PRA for the first play. Next up, I'm going to go to the NBA first quarter tab, going to Zion at 4.5. Really surprised this isn't at 5.0 on PrizePicks because a lot of books even have this up at 5.5. So Zion looking really good in terms of odds, but also against the Lakers, he hit this pretty well. And we'll go into his hit rate real quick. But 4.5 first quarter points, loving this from Zion. We haven't seen kind of a playoff Zion. It's not in the playoffs yet, but this will do with a play-in game for us. Zion Williamson is going to be our second play, and again, in this same game. So let's go to his Outlier page. Kind of forgot to do the plug here for Outlier, but you can get a free week if you want to check it out using my link in the description. Just let them know that I sent you there. It's a tool that gives you a ton of different data, as you can see here. But 4.5 first quarter points. We see 2023 as a whole, 57% hit rate. So another one that's looking good just in terms of the entire season. You might be saying, hey, Ingram missed a lot of games. We can actually go ahead and see games specifically with Brandon Ingram. I go ahead and check that. It doesn't hurt Zion very much at all, 55% still. So still looking pretty good there. And then I'm just going to go to the head-to-head matchup. To the Lakers overall, they give up the 23rd most points. Obviously, playoffs, that might come down a little bit. But to the power forward position, they are a little bit weak here. 27th ranked in terms of points allowed to that power forward spot at 26.2. So I do like to see that. Obviously, Zion is that true power forward. When Valanciunas starts, he does not. Valanciunas might not get a whole lot of minutes, but in the first quarter, he is still starting for some reason, even though they play on like 10 minutes a game now. But just going into the head-to-head, that's what we want to see. 6 points, 9 points, 14 points, and then a dud here with 2 points in their last game. But again, the Lakers came out hot. Pelicans couldn't really get anything going. So in terms of the 4 matchups this year, he's cleared this easily in 3 out of the 4 and dominated in this one with 14 first quarter points. Should get around 9 to 12 minutes in this first quarter. It is planned. It's kind of win or go home at this point for these teams. So they want to win. They're going to give it their all. And hopefully Zion gets a ton of run in that first quarter and does what he's kind of been doing all year, not only to most teams, but in general to the Lakers specifically. Home games, not sure if that affects it. Yeah, that playing at home, likes that home crowd, 64% hit rate when looking at this at home. Didn't even actually check that box when I was originally looking at it. Looking really good. They're also favorites if you go and do, win by whatever points it might be. 65% hit rate. So Zion looking really, really good here. In terms of the matchup, awesome. In terms of the hit rate, really, really good. And then the sports book, I want to show you this. Usually I go to the fantasy optimizer, but some of these lines like first quarter points, they don't have that just yet. So this is a sports book screen. This is Odds Jam. Check it out for a free week if you want to do that. And you can see Zion average odds across all these different types of sports books. I haven't set up my new laptop yet, so bear with the lagging screen here. But you can see all these different types of sports books pretty much across the country. Average odds 5.3. So again, we're getting this at 4.5. Average sports books have this at 5.3, and it's pretty 50-50. Still minus 113 in terms of like the mathematics behind this. Still minus 113 to go over, minus 121 to go under. So it's not like it's extremely heavily favored to go under 5.3. It's still around 50-50 at 5.3, and you can see the market value. A ton of these sports books have this at 5.5. So 4.5 on PrizePicks, we'll take that any day of the week. Looks like FanDuel does have it at 4.5, but they're at minus 156 on the over. So we're getting really, really good value here. Everything looking good for Zion. And that's going to be our second play of the day and the 2 picks for that first game, Lakers versus Pelicans. All right, so then moving into the next slate of games, we've got the Warriors versus the Kings. Again, should be a good one, kind of a rematch of last year's playoffs. But I want to talk about someone that they brought in. They didn't bring them in for regular season games. They brought him in for success in the playoffs, some veteran leadership. And that's going to be Chris Paul. Sometimes Chris Paul doesn't see as much time on the floor in the regular season. But come playoff time, I think they are going to play him as much as they can. Maybe not 35 minutes, but he's projected for 24 right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he sees a little bit more than that. And I would love to go to his PRA. I'd love to go to his assists, really at 5.5. The odds just weren't there for me. But something that was there in the, along with the hit rate and all these different things, the matchup, things that I like to look at is his 3.5 rebounds. I'm not expecting him to get 10, but if you can go out there and get 4, that's looking like a really good scenario and a good chance that happens. So 3.5 not first quarter, but 3.5 rebounds for Chris Paul is going to be our next play. So diving into his outlier page, I got him pulled up here. Again, another hit rate that's looking really good for just the entire year in general. 62% of games he's gone over this. Again, a lot of these games that he's over, he's just getting that 4th one, which is okay with me. Now you can see the minutes definitely fluctuating, average 26.4 for the season. Some of these games, especially recently, only getting 16 minutes. And I think that's more conserving him for the playoffs here. And we can see even going into last year, he can rebound the ball. He's a gritty type of player, maybe even a dirty type of player. So he's a playoff guy, definitely tries to step up his game. And at this point of his career, he wants to do anything he can to get closer to that championship. So in terms of the matchup, Sacramento gives up a decent amount of point guard rebounds, 23rd ranked, 6.3 rebounds to point guards per game. So that is a good data point to see. And then if we want to look at games that he's getting, that 24 minutes, let's go to right there. I don't know why it's glitching out doing 23.99999, but 70% hit rate when he's getting at least 24 minutes. So another good data point, averaging 4.22. Again, I'm not expecting him to get 10, but if he can go out there and get 4, which he has been pretty consistently, that's all we're going to need from him. So 70% hit rate with at least 24 minutes. I do really like to see that. And then considering the matchup against the Kings, who give up a decent amount of rebounds to that point guard position, this one's looking really good. In terms of the odds, I don't think I pulled them up here. Yes, I did. We see the rebounds popping up right on top for him. 53.68% chance to hit according to DG Fantasy. By the way, 25% off your first month if you want to check out DG Fantasy. It's awesome for looking at market value. Are you getting a good line on PrizePicks and attacking good value? That's the whole point of this tool. And we can see, yeah, we definitely are. Why is that? Every other sportsbooks that have this out, 3.5 is minus 130, minus 140, minus 137 odds to go over here. So there's no reason to take a plus money line on PrizePicks where they pay you out the same, whether you're taking the over or the under. Now, in terms of his other lines, again, I think Chris Paul is going to play well today, but his lines might be inflated a little bit too high on his PRA, fantasy score, points and rebounds, even his assists. Something I really wanted to go to because he has assisted the ball really well against the Kings this year. At 5.5 is slightly favored on the under. So if you want to look at assists, if you want to look at assists and rebounds, I don't mind either of those. But for the video picks, I'm going to be going right to rebounds at 3.5, which is looking really good for us. And then in terms of our projection model, we see his points, his fantasy score. A lot of things are favored on the over, including his rebounds, 3.84 on a 3.5 line. So much closer to 4 than it is to 3. And again, if I had to predict what he's going to get today, I expect him to get 4 rebounds. So that's all he'll need. Not my favorite line in the world, but something that looks really good. And again, this is me thinking that Chris Paul should get a decent amount of run today, as they brought him in for this season to get the playoff minutes and kind of give him that boost in the postseason. So Chris Paul, 3.5 rebounds, going to be our first play of the second set of games and our third play of the video. All right, so quickly before we go over our last play, I do want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. That is a big milestone, and never would have thought we would get here. So I appreciate everyone that has subscribed, and if that gets you over the edge to click that button, I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you're interested in this type of stuff, if you're at this point in the video and you're interested in joining a community, talk to like-minded, people that like sports, props, DFS, whatever it might be, highly recommend checking out the Discord. As you can see, it's active. We're always talking. Whether it's esports, NBA, MLB, we talk all different types of sports. It's just like-minded people, people that like to, make money, sports betting, DFS, playing DFS, or just watching sports in general. Check us out. It's $20 a month to get in here, or you can get in here for free, multiple different ways. Codes and links are all right here. They're all in the description of this video. And again, the Discord link is also down there. But PrizePicks, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Dabble, or DG Fantasy all translate to a free month of the Discord. Just DM me, say, hey, use your code to one of these, and I'll get you right in. Again, highly recommend it if you're interested in this. If you're watching at this point in the video, you should get in the community. It's a fun time. Always a place to talk plays. Maybe if someone's not playing as well, you can go in there and roast them in the chat, and I'm sure a lot of people would go in there and agree with you. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, and we've been really successful. Haven't had a losing month since we started this a few months back. So not going to spend too much time on it because this video is already getting pretty long. But yeah, please subscribe, almost at 10,000, and come join the family of the Discord. We'd love to have you. All right, so going into our last play of the day, I hate to do it just because I like Sabonis, but I'm going to be taking his under 8.5 assists here. I'm going to go over the data points like I do for every pick, every single video, my reasoning why I'm taking it. You can ultimately decide if you want to take the play or not. But again, 8.5 assists on the under against the Warriors, specifically in playoff type atmosphere. He has not been able to hit this very often. So let's look at his outlier page. Again, last video pick is this 8.5 assists for Sabonis. And we can see it's a 86% hit rate in the head-to-head against the Warriors. So that's the main reason I'm going to this. Again, a lot of these were last year, specifically in the playoffs. 2 assists, 4 assists, 4 assists. Did have a couple games where he had 8 assists or 7 assists, but never got over that hump to get that 9th assists. All last year. And they did play each other 4 times this year. I'm not going to discredit these 2 games right here. 13 assists and 10 assists. Yes, he killed it. And he's definitely having a better year assisting the ball than last year, for sure. But these were back in January and November. I don't remember if Draymond Green was missing in those games, but obviously he's a big part of that defense. And the defense should be locking up a little bit more in the playoffs, as we can see again. It's not like Sabonis never got over 8.5 assists last year, and he wasn't really even coming close in this playoffs against the Warriors. So we got a lot of history against these 2 teams. In terms of 2023, still gone under in 55% of the games, even though he had an excellent year, only averaged 8.21. Not only, I'm just saying, only in terms of this line, as opposed to last year. Again, he got way better in terms of assisting the ball, was under this line in 73% of games last year. But in terms of this year, obviously has maybe a little bit of a different team, but we have to take into account there's no Kevin Huerter and there's no Malik Monk to pass to. So those are 2 guys that he likes to pass the ball to, guys that get some easy threes for him. or cutting the basket in terms of Malik Monk. And, I think that might hurt him a little bit not having those two guys. So putting those all together, the hit rate against this team specifically in the playoff type atmosphere, looking really, really good. And then take into account that he's missing a few of his key guys to pass to in Monk and Herter. This one's looking really good for Sabonis. So I like the guy, but taking the under on his 8.5 assists. And also want to point out that the odds are liking this as well. So we can see the sportsbook screen right here. 8.5 is the consensus line, but favored on the under, minus 127.7 on the under as opposed to minus 105.7. So we're definitely getting some good market value. The sports books are saying this one's more likely to go under than over. So I do like that. And then our last data point is going to be that RotoWire projection model. And this is another cool thing to see because they're expecting Sabonis to have a great game. They're expecting the overs on all of his lines, except for all the way down to the bottom, his assist line. Even though they're expecting to have a great game, they're still saying his assists maybe is a little bit too high. They're expecting 8.29 on that 8.5 line. So another one where everything really pointing in the right direction here. Again, maybe he goes out and gets 8 and it gets a little sweaty, which could totally happen. He just can't get that 9th one. So hate to do it. Sabonis under 8.5 assists. I like the dude. I like him in fantasy basketball for sure because he's a guy that can fill the stat sheet. But in terms of this game, in terms of betting DFS, I'm taking the under here for our last play. That's going to do it for today's video. Sorry this was a little bit longer than I expected. I like to do the deep dives. I don't like to just skimp off the top of the fantasy optimizers and say that these are the best plays of the day because sometimes I don't always agree with that. But yeah, ultimately decide if you want to take, all these plays, if you want to pick and choose your favorite ones, that is up to you. But real quick on the recap, Austin Reeves over 23.0 PRA. This was at 22.5. I think you can probably still get it at 22.5 on maybe Sleeper or Chalkboard or some of these other apps. But yeah, really liking Austin Reeves today. He's been killing it in the playoffs consistently the past few years, especially last year, and he consistently plays well against the Pelicans. So I'm really liking Reeves even after that bump at 23.0. Zion, 4.5 first quarter points. We're getting great odds on this one, 5.5 pretty much everywhere else. And again, really good history against the Lakers specifically. Had a 14-point first quarter against them, a few games ago. So really liking Zion in the first quarter. Chris Paul over 3.5 rebounds. They got him. They brought him in for a reason, not to sit on the bench in the playoffs, but to play some minutes. Hopefully he gets at least 24. That's what they're expecting today. If he gets any more than that, that'd be awesome for us too. But he's a gritty type of player, and 3.5 rebounds looks doable for him. If I had to guess what he gets, though, it'd probably be 4 rebounds, and that's all he needs. Sabonis, we just talked about him, 8.5 assists on the under. Just an insane hit rate against this Warriors team on the under. Defenses lock up a little bit more than usual. Hands are a little bit more active. And we know the Warriors step up their play in the postseason. So those are our 4 plays. Again, check out our community if you want to get into a spot where you just know a bunch of normal people like me, like-minded people, looking at different plays, pointing out things that maybe you would miss, and putting our brains together to make some money enjoying sports like we always do. Also, last thing would be subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 10K. Would love to hit that in the next few days. It would be amazing. And like the video, comment anything down below. Again, if this video gets to 150 likes, I will be giving away a free month of the Discord to a random commenter. So that's going to do it. I'm going to try to get out an MLB video. This took a little bit longer than I thought, so maybe not. But if I do, look out for that, and I'll probably pin that in this video as well. But if not, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Super excited, ton of MLB. But again, playoffs are around the corner. We got some playing games tonight. NBA postseason is here. I'll see you guys in the next one.